Hey everyone! Today I'm going to be walking you through how to adjust the settings for your company within Monograph. After you've logged in, you want to navigate to the Settings tab on the left-hand side of your screen. Here, you'll see a number of different areas where you can adjust your settings, such as organization, timesheets, projects, team, invoices, permissions, billing, and refer. Under organization, this is where you'll add your company name, logo, time zone, locale, currency, as well as your organization address. This is important because all of this information will appear on the invoices that you generate from within Monograph. Another important feature here is the timer. The timer will automatically be enabled for your team, which means that they're able to use the built-in timer feature to track time throughout the day. If for any reason you don't want this to be enabled, you'll click here on Edit and turn the toggle off and then Save. Additionally, this is also where you'll go to set up your integration to QuickBooks Online, as well as enter your organizational overhead costs. It's important to enter your overhead costs because these amounts are included in the calculations used for your firm's profit reports. The next tab over is Timesheets. This will allow us to customize settings associated to your team's timesheets. The first thing we see here is the ability to lock time. By locking time, this means that the timesheet will be locked after so many days of it being due, and your team won't be able to make edits without an admin unlocking their timesheet first. We do suggest having this turned on and giving your team a generous amount of time. For example, here we say 7 days. This is a good amount of time because it gives your team a buffer to wrap up their timesheets and submit them to you before they're locked. The next item here is a reminder email. This is just a simple weekly email that gets sent out to your team on a day and time of your preference with a customizable message reminding them to submit their timesheets. We do encourage having this turned on as well. Next, we have overhead. This will come pre-populated with standard overhead categories across firms, but you can customize this as needed. As you add custom overhead categories, they will appear as an option to add as overhead for any timesheets moving forward. Then we also have activities. Activities are tasks and things that you do within a phase that your team would track time against, and these can be billable or non-billable. As you add custom activities, they will appear for timesheets moving forward. It's important to note that if you delete any overhead categories or activities from this page, it will not affect any previously submitted timesheets where the overhead or activities were logged. The next tab over brings us to projects. These are settings that are applicable to projects and how they're set up. The first thing we see here is categories. We've pre-populated this list, but you can create custom categories as necessary. You can think of categories as tags, and this means that a project can have multiple categories. This will be useful when you're trying to filter out certain projects within your project overview or when you're looking at reports. Next, we have phases. Again, we've already pre-populated some industry standard phases, but you can edit or add more fixed or hourly phases on a global level here as needed. Next, we have consultant types. Again, we've pre-populated a list of different types of consultants, but you can edit or add more as necessary. These will be used in the consultant planner when you're planning your project. Next, we have the Team tab. Under Team is where you establish the billable roles and their standard rates for your company. So here, we're setting standards across all projects and what the worth of an hour is. So for example, if your principal were to log 20 hours to a project this week, we know that the billable rate for the principal is $250. You can also edit this here to match the billable rates of your company, or add additional roles as necessary. Again, these roles and billable rates are for projects moving forward, so they won't adjust any historical information that you've already added, which is why it's important to do these settings early on as you're using Monograph. Next, we have invoices. These are preset terms that are used within your invoices that can be adjusted as necessary, or you can create your own custom terms. And over here, we have expense categories. Again, we've pre-populated a few for you, but you can add your own custom expense categories as needed. Next, we have permissions. We've recorded a separate video that walks you through permissions in much greater detail, but essentially, this is where you can go to edit or add permission levels and customize the access for each of those permission levels based on what you'd like your team members to see. For example, if I look at the admin permission level, you can see that I have full access to Monograph with no restrictions, and I can see what I have access to here based on the green check marks. Now, if I were to look at Project Designer, The default access for this permission level is much more restricted, and I can see this because of all of the red icons. Permission levels are fully customizable, and you can add new permission levels by creating one from scratch using the New Policy button or by duplicating an existing permission level. Again, there is a very detailed video following this that goes over everything you can do within permissions and how to customize them, so we highly encourage you to watch that video. Next, we have the Billing tab. Here, you can see your subscription status, as well as when your invoice is due, the amount due, and the information from your last invoice. You can also see which email is associated to your billing. If you need to edit any of this billing information, you can click here on Billing Details. Finally, we have the Refer tab. If you love Monograph, this tab allows you to share your referral code with anyone in another company. By giving them this code, if they sign up, they get a free month, and you'll also get a free month attributed to your account. You can share this code by email, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, or by copying the link and sharing it however you'd like. And that's it. I'm Kelsey, and thanks for following along. If you have any questions, please visit our support center or reach out to us directly for further assistance. Thank you.